It's Wednesday, January 3. I'm Anthony Davis. This is 5 Minute News. 4 legal US-Mexico border crossings will reopen tomorrow as high levels of illegal immigration have receded and freed up personnel, US border authorities said yesterday. The US will resume operations at an international bridge in Eagle Pass, Texas, 2 crossings in Arizona and another near San Diego, California. US Customs and Border Protection said in a press release, adding that it will continue to prioritize border security as necessary. US border authorities struggled in December to process migrants as apprehensions reached nearly 11,000 in a single day, which several current and former officials said was near or at a record high. Lawmakers remain in talks over a possible deal that would combine increased border security measures with foreign aid, including military funding for Ukraine, US officials said. Mexican and US officials pledged last week to work together more closely to tackle record migration at their shared border after top US officials traveled to Mexico to meet with Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Mexican officials have stepped up immigration enforcement in recent weeks, including moving migrants to southern Mexico and resuming deportation flights to Venezuela. U.S. border authorities arrested an average of 6,400 migrants each day over the past week. The Japan Airlines passenger jet that collided with a smaller plane on a runway at Tokyo International Airport on Tuesday took less than 18 minutes to get all 367 travelers off the plane and safely accounted for. Reconstructing the scene based on crew accounts, officials at Japan's second biggest airline said crew followed emergency procedures in textbook fashion, starting with the first rule: panic control. As soon as the Airbus A350-900 series wide-body jet came to a stop, cabin attendants called out to passengers to remain calm as bright orange flames engulfed large areas of the plane and smoke quickly filled the cabin. Some passengers interviewed at the airport late on Tuesday credited the swift evacuation drill with saving their lives. Emergency protocol stipulates that crew must have permission from the cockpit to open any emergency exits. The captain stood near the 2 exits up front and gave the go-ahead for evacuation. After ensuring that all passengers had slid safely down the 3 slides, the crew and pilots completed the evacuation at 6:05 p.m. local time, or 18 minutes after landing. Officials at JAL said they did not know how long the process took from the time the aircraft came to a complete stop. The crash is the first significant accident involving the Airbus A350, Europe's premier long-haul jet, in service since 2015. It's also the first time a passenger plane, built mainly from lightweight carbon composites, has burned totally. The A350-900 was certified to be evacuated within 90 seconds, with only half of the exits usable. Aviation safety agencies have warned for years that pausing to collect carry-on baggage risks lives during an evacuation. Russia and Ukraine today exchanged hundreds of prisoners of war in the biggest single release of captives since Russia's full-scale invasion in February 2022. Ukrainian authorities said that 230 Ukrainian prisoners of war returned home in the first exchange in almost 5 months. Russia's defense ministry said that 248 Russian servicemen had been freed under the deal sponsored by the UAE. Ukraine's human rights ombudsman said it was the 49th prisoner exchange during the war. Some of the Ukrainians had been held since 2022. Among them were some of those who fought in milestone battles for Ukraine's Snake Island and the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Also today, Russia said it shot down 12 missiles fired at one of its southern regions bordering Ukraine, as Kiev's forces seek to embarrass the Kremlin and puncture President Vladimir Putin's argument that life is going on as normal despite the fighting. The Russian side of the frontier has come under increasingly frequent attack in recent days. Throughout the war, border villages have sporadically been targeted by Ukrainian artillery fire, rockets, mortar shells and drones launched from thick forests where they're hard to detect. Belgorod, with a population of about 340,000, is the biggest Russian city near the border. It can be reached by relatively simple and movable weapons such as multiple rocket launchers. Hitting Belgorod and disrupting city life is a dramatic way for Ukraine to show it can strike back against Russia, whose military outnumbers and outguns Kiev's forces. The tactic appeared to be having some success, with signs the attacks are unsettling the public, political leaders, and military observers. I'm Anthony Davis. Click the links in the description below to become a member of the 5-Minute News community on YouTube or Patreon and help support independent, unbiased, and essential news for the US and across the world.